Hi there, how you doing? Thank you for clicking on to my video. Today I'm going to be doing a review, owner's review of the 2015 or 16 depending on where you live, Nissan e-NV200. I'm going to be reviewing this incredible but not perfect machine built by Nissan today, and it will be an in-depth but this time I think more focused review than my previous review of the Nissan Leaf. I think you'll be surprised, quite surprised by this review. I'm going to try to stay on topic much more. I also want to give a heads up. I'm going to have a pros and cons list. I will have a top 5 pros and a top 5 cons, but there are definitely more pros and cons than that top 5 on the list. As well as the cons are actually going to outnumber the pros. However, I only do that because I'm trying to think of negative things for anybody driving the car, what they would find negative. Some people aren't going to find some of these cons or pros in their list. Same thing, but I put it in there just to be as general as possible. Also, some of those pros on my list are just so much better than some of these cons. I don't even care about some of these cons, but some of these cons are big cons, and they will make the top 5 list of my cons list as well. So let's get started. This is the Nissan e-NV200 7-passenger version. Let's go over some of the pros on the exterior for now. On the exterior, the pros, there's actually quite a few. This is a good-looking car. The front fascia is much better looking than the NV version. Actually, I prefer it over the Leaf even, maybe, in some ways. I like the style of the headlights, and I love this little LED trim right here. It's a really nice feature. Another nice feature of this car are these nice large side mirrors. The side mirrors are just wonderful for driving. Gives you lots of visibility what's behind you. Color is stunning. The color, this blue, is very different than the Leaf blue when the Leaf first came out. This is called a liquid blue, I believe, and it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous blue. We've put on about already in what we've had it for about a month. For about a month we've had it. We've already put on 2,595 kilometers. That works out to 1,622 miles in 1 month's time, and that's pretty amazing considering its limited range for using the same battery pack as the Leaf does. It's still we're able to drive it quite a bit. We use it for work, and it's working out really great. Another bonus on this car is the rear end. I love the styling on the rear gate is actually quite good. The cons, though, the only con I can think of for exterior of this vehicle is maybe the side profile. It's not so good because it's still, they did a good job trying to cover up the work truck aspect of it by making the handles, the door handles, same color as the body, but you still have that track in the back for the sliding doors, which is very industrial looking. The newer consumer vans, they hide that track now on the sliding doors, and so it's a little industrial looking on the sides. But front and back, beautiful, nice job. Let's move on to the interior. All right, moving on to the interior. The pros of the interior are first of all, the seating. You sit really nice and high in this car, so getting in and out is also very easy. It just takes one little step in, and as you can see, for a person with my legs, and I'm average height person, but my legs might be a little extra long than some people because I have a short torso. But yeah, getting in and out is just a breeze. It's really comfortable, really nice seating on it, both in the front and in the back. Getting in and out. The seating is, once again, as you can see, just real easy in and out for seating. And oops, gotta put the, okay, so that's definitely a pro. All right, so once again, the seating arrangement, the high seating is really nice. We like the interior color. The interior color they chose on this particular model is actually quite nice. Dark gray, side panels, light gray seats, and the steering column is black and stuff. I kind of prefer it over the Leaf's interior in a way. Steering wheel on the Leaf, it tends to get kind of nasty looking over time from sweat and just hand oil. This one's not going to show up so bad, so yeah, it's really nice. Let's see here. We also heated seats and steering wheel. Once again, comes standard on this particular car, because in Japan, when you buy the 7-passenger, what they call the wagon of the e-NV200, you only get the top grade, #1 grade. There is no medium or low grade on this particular model. 7-passenger, strictly only the top grade. So it comes standard with heated steering wheel and seats, and that is a really nice feature. We like that a lot. Cargo room is incredible. I'm comparing this to a Nissan Leaf, but even if I compare it to a regular standard gasoline model NV200, this car is a little longer, a little bit, and a little wider than the NV. So the cargo room is really incredible in this car, and the seating arrangements are really cool. You can do all kinds of different things. You can fold up the second row seats all the way up and just have lots of leg room for the back third row seats, and then you can fold up the third row seats and have lots of cargo room behind the second row seats, or you can fold them all up and have tons of cargo room for like moving furniture around, boxes and stuff like that. So it's really nice as far as seating arrangement goes and things like that. The cons though to that, there is a con. Your second row seats do not recline at all. There's no reclining on them. Also, they do not slide, so your leg room is limited on the second row. As a matter of fact, because you have that gigantic AC inverter underneath the front seat, and you also have the plug-in underneath the passenger seat, your power plug, you have very little foot room as well in the second row. Your third row is actually much more comfortable. Your third row seats will recline, but once again, however, because this model has a second air conditioning unit in the back, your right-hand side seat that's next to the, closest to the air conditioner, cannot recline as far as the left-handed seat in the third row. Third row seats have much more leg room though than the second row, and they do recline. Both of them do recline much more than the second row. So yeah, and also they're really soft. They're really comfortable. A con to the front seats on this car is they're pretty hard. They're a pretty hard seat. It's like it's very similar to our K car, our K Honda. The seats in that were really hard. These seats are very similar to that. The back seats are a little softer because of the suspension. You have a truck suspension, leaf spring suspension in the back, so you have it's a little more bouncy than a regular car. So they made the seats a little more softer and comfortable to help with that. And it does help. It does help, but it is bouncier. When I did the initial first impressions of this car, I said the suspension is just as good or maybe even a little bit better than the Leaf. I was wrong. I've been driving it for a while. It is definitely a harder suspension and a bouncier ride than the Leaf. The Leaf definitely has a better cushion to it. But they did a good job. They did a pretty good job considering it's a leaf spring truck suspension on this particular vehicle. It is pretty comfortable. It's just those seats in the front are a little too hard, and that leaf spring's pretty bouncy in the back over potholes. So there you go. That's the pros and the cons on the seating. Another thing I like about this car, Pro, is that front passenger seat can fold up and be a table, and that comes in so handy when you're by yourself driving. You got a little place to put things when you're driving. Your phones and your iPads and stuff. It's really comfortable and bendy. Just really great to have. It also comes in handy when we're using our cookers and stuff, when we're doing like not really camping, but we're doing a stop and the kids are hungry. We can heat up some water or something. We got a little table there to work with. So we really like that feature. The con to that is because that chair folds up into a table, it has a special hinge on it. And what that hinge does means when you recline, if you're sitting in that passenger seat and you want to recline, it is totally not comfortable. Not a good design there for reclining. Not comfortable at all. Also, your leg room in the passenger side front seat is very limited because they have the firewall pushed towards you more. Not good. So your leg room is limited. You have a hard seat, and that puppy does not recline well at all because it's meant to turn into a table. Let's see here. Instrumentation is, wow, incredible. That's a big pro on this car. I love the instrumentation. Easy to read, very informative, lots of information. Also, the menus are, you can customize the menus to see the only information you want to see. The instrumentation is incredible, really nice, really looks good. Rear air conditioning. This car offers 2 air conditioning units. I mentioned it earlier because of this, you can't recline on a seat, but the rear air conditioning is a big plus. We love the rear air conditioning when we're transporting our children around in the hot weather. We have a main power button in the front, so we just have to hit that main power button. Turns on the rear unit in the back. Luckily, the children do not touch the fan controls. They know better, so they don't touch the fan controls to make it too cold back there, because it works good. The air conditioning works really well in the back. It's powerful. It's not too noisy if you keep the controls turned down low, and it keeps everybody comfortable, so we like that a lot. The drive controls on this car, I dare say, are better than the Leaf. This is one area where it is better. I like how they did the shifter on it. The shifter, everything's within reach. I can use my fingers, I can reach the economy button, put in eco mode. I can push up and go to neutral to coast down like slight grade, so I don't have to use electricity. I can just tap it to go into brake mode, and tap it again to go out of brake mode. So the controls for controlling the transmission and the powertrain, very intuitive and also very easy to operate. So yeah, I will give the drive controls, the placement of them, excellent rating on that. Storage ability, lots of storage in this car, pockets and bottle holders and cup holders everywhere. Lots of storage on this car. I love the central storage unit between the front passenger and driver's seat. It's just really huge. It's lots of room. It opens up and you can put a briefcase or a purse there, a large purse there, and hold it. It's really nice. I love that. And the suspension, like I said earlier, is not too bad. Okay, that's the pros. Let's move on to the cons. Okay, moving on to the cons. Like I said earlier, the cons probably outnumber the pros in this review, because I'm trying to think of everything that might be a little bothersome to people. But like I said, some people won't even think about it, won't bother them on some of these cons. And also some of these cons are just, they're not really relevant when you take into account the pros that are on this vehicle. I will, like I said at the end of this video, when I'm summing everything up, I will give you a top 5 list of pros and a top 5 list of cons, and we'll summarize back later on. So let's get started. For interior, the cons, the front seats are hard. I already mentioned that. The seats are very hard. So after a long drive, you start to feel it. There's no lumbar support, so you start to feel it here. Not very good. Thank you. The road and powertrain noise is much more prevalent on this vehicle, of course. It wasn't made from ground up like the Leaf was, so it doesn't have a lot of sound deadening materials put into it, and not very good insulation as well. So the tire noise is really loud when you have the windows up, as well as you can hear I kind of like it, so this isn't a con for me. With some people this would be a con. You can really hear the electric motor in the gear, that special gear they have in there, the 1-speed gear. When you're accelerating, it makes a lot of noise. I think it sounds really futuristic. I like it, but some people, it will bother them. Big con coming up: no cruise control. Not offered, not even an option on this particular vehicle. Why? Why would you do that, Nissan? Why? So that's a big con. No vanity mirrors. Some people that's not a big deal. Some people, they want the mirrors on the sun visors. Nothing available. Another big con is seat belts. They are not adjustable, and they cut into my neck. I can't move it down. I said I have a short torso, long leg, short torso. So that seatbelt gets me right in the neck, and I hate it. It just feels awful. The backup camera, the rear view monitor camera, when you're backing up, the angle is non-adjustable, and it's awful. you have very little range to see behind you. It's kind of dangerous, and that's not good. Another huge con, when you're driving, we found that this car has some noises. It makes some noise. Once again, like I said, this is originally a work vehicle, an NV class vehicle, and they just did some simple conversion to make it into an electric vehicle. It makes noises. The suspension, because of that leaf spring and other things, that truck suspension on it, it squeaks a lot on the outside. And I've got like a little mouse living in my dashboard, a little squeak in the dashboard as well. Squeak, 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 and that gets annoying. So that's a big con. Another con is the charge port. To access the port door, they have I don't mind my Leaf has a push button, or a remote control. I can pop the port door open. On this car, you use the like the first generation Leaf has you use a little lever to pop it open. I don't mind that. What I do mind is they put it right next to the hood release, and I hit the hood release every time. I know it has a little divot in it to let me know which one is the hood release and which one is the port release, but I still miss it all the time. I'm not a big fan of that. And a bigger con is no locks. I cannot lock my charger into it like you can on the Leaf. I have no way of locking it in, so if I was charging somewhere, someone wanted to be a jerk, they could unplug my car and I'd be in big trouble. So yeah, that's a big con to me. The original headlights. This isn't a big con because you can easily change the headlights to LED, but the original headlights that do come with this car is, for in the price range that it's in the $38,000, $40,000 price range. Halogen headlights, and they are not good, and so that's a big con to me. But you can, like I said, those are easy to change. It's like $100, $200 change, and you can have beautiful headlights. So I'm not going to make it in the top 5 because you can't change them. The power window switch. I've talked about this before when I was doing my first impressions, and this is still holding true. It hurts. The power. I'll show you. The power window switch. You can't see. Power window switch on the door. I'm going to show you a video right now. While I'm talking to you, you're going to see an interior shot. That power window switch, you'll bang your knee on that thing as you drive. It's awful. It's awful. It drives me crazy. So I would say that's a big con to me. It's also ugly. It's really ugly. It's the same thing they have on the NV200, but still, I mean, this is a consumer van. It's not a work van, so I think they should have done something different with that, personally. And the interior lights, yeah. All the dome lights, the lights and the switches are cheap feeling, very cheap feeling. I'm not a big fan of those at all. So that's definitely a con on the interior. I'm going to change the lights to LEDs to help brighten up a little bit, but still those switches are so cheesy feeling. It's just really cheap. Another thing I have a kind of a pet peeve with is on the second row seat, we have a middle seat belt, shoulder harness, that when you're not using it, it connects to the roof of the car using a magnet. That thing is, if you can see right now as I'm talking to you, it wobbles. It's useless. Or not useless, but it's cheap. It's just cheap looking. Let's move on. All right, continuing on with the cons on the interior. The seat belts in the rear. These are a big problem for me and my wife because we use it as a company car and we use it as a school bus. And when we pick up kids with the child seats, what happens is these little things, these little receptors for your seat belt, they don't come out very far. They do not come out very far, so when you go to buckle them in, especially with a child seat there, you can't reach. It's really hard. You're like hunting in the dark. You can't see what you're doing. And so that's a really big minus on it for us. Other people might not be such a big deal, but honestly, even without a car seat, when I sit in the back sometimes and I put the shoulder, it's really hard because the thing is right behind you. It's not on the side. It's right behind you. The way they have you sit. And so that's a big no-no. And of course, range. That's a big con. In our country, in Japan, it's not a con. I wish it was 200-mile range, but I still get a little over 100 miles on 100% charge. So it's not really a con. It's doable. The range is fine over here. But If you're living in Russia, North America, South America, Europe, most places where the speed limits in the UK, speed limits are much higher, and just the traffic is much more, it can be much more dense in certain areas. The range is going to be cut down. You're going to be looking at probably in America 50 to 60 miles on one 100% charge. Not good. That's useless, and that's probably why it hasn't shown up yet in the American market, North American market yet. Nissan's waiting to put the bigger battery in. Hopefully it'll be out soon. We have a grocery bag hook in the front of the car, and it's for you can have a little garbage bag in the front. It's totally useless. They have it so low that when you hook the bag to it, it's just going to come right off. It needs to be suspended more. It needs to be up higher so you can suspend the bag. It's a useless hook. It doesn't work. The infotainment ports, yeah. The infotainment ports on this car, I like having the USB port and the line in and all those ports available. However, they're in a spot where you can't see unless you bend over your head all the way over and you're looking upside down to get to the ports. Well, that doesn't work when you're driving. So yeah, the infotainment ports are in a terrible location. That's a big con. Armrests are non-existent anywhere in this car. Zero armrests, front, middle, or back. And I like armrests. I love my armrests. Why they couldn't put a armrest in this car? It would have been so easy. I don't know why they didn't do it. Moving on to the third segment of the review, we're moving on to accessories and services. What this car offers. Let's see. Let's start off with the infotainment system. Infotainment system, actually, I like it. It's identical to the Leaf. If you own a Nissan Leaf, then you know what I'm going to be talking about. It's a Bluetooth infotainment system with a digital. I have in the Japanese model has a digital TV tuner built in, and to be honest with you, everything works really well with the navigation controls, with the menu controls. Everything's fast. You touch it, it responds instantly. I love that. And in Japan, they also offer operator service, and I love that. It's part of the infotainment package, operator service with your Bluetooth. Bluetooth works really easily, really well with your smartphone devices. You can also plug in your smartphone or your USB device and access it through your stereo system as well. We have remote controls on the steering wheel here for you to operate the infotainment system and the navigation controls. So that's really nice. I really do. It's a top-notch infotainment system to me. It really is smooth. It works great. I've even been using the voice operation system, and the voice guidance operation system is working great. It actually works really good. You have to get like a little bit, maybe too much detail. You have to do this, and go something to something, but it understands me. I don't have to repeat myself ever. It understands me the first time I say it, and it's nice. It's a good way of having hands-free control of your vehicle. The USB, it comes with we already said that. It has an AC power system. AC, I mentioned it earlier. It comes with a 1,500 watt AC inverter in this car. It's great for camping, great for all kinds of things. And we also get a power plug right up front, a power plug-in spot. And so it's great for powering our devices, charging anything, notebook, computer, whatever you want, you can charge right from the front. Really nice feature. A lot of power, so you can run a lot of devices at the same time off that inverter. The CarWings remote system, I've talked about before in the Leaf review. Like I said, the system is very identical, pretty much identical to the Leaf. So anybody who owns the Leaf knows what I'm talking about. Once again, it's really nice. It's really nice. The app, you can access your car from on your smartphone from an app. You can check your battery percentage. You can turn on your climate control to warm it up or cool it down, depending what time of year it is. You can actually plan a trip from your phone, from your iPad, or from your home computer, and send the information. Send the trip to your navigation system, to your car, and next time you get in, you're ready to go. It's a really nice service. Maybe one con would be the app needs to be updated. It's big time for a new update on the app, and make small improvements. There are some things we'd like to have on our CarWings app. One thing would be like similar to what Tesla has is some kind of tracking system. So if my wife is driving around borrowing the car, I know where she is. I can track her on the app. That'd be a nice service. maybe even an app where I can adjust the temperature on the climate control. It's not really that necessary, but once in a blue moon, it might be nice. So yeah, it's nice. Also on this particular car, sorry, I'm standing up. This particular car, on the remote control, I have on this bottom button, I can actually just hit this bottom button and access my climate control. So from the house, I can turn on in the wintertime, warm up the car, or summertime, cool down the car just before I walk out. I don't have to use my my car wings app to do it. That's a really nice feature on this car. This car, I can also go into the menu. Like I said earlier, I can customize the menu. I have 3 alarms that I can adjust. The first alarm is a speed alarm. Since this car does not come with cruise control, why Nissan, why? But since it doesn't come with cruise control, I can set up an alarm and let me know if I'm going over a certain speed. And second alarm would be for like how long I've been driving, and it'll tell me when to take a break. Oh, you've been driving for 2 hours, take a break, or something like that. And the third alarm is for temperature, outdoor ambient temperature. If it gets too high, it'll warn you, so you can take it easy on your battery. This particular model, the only 7-passenger van, but a 7-passenger model does not come with a BMS system. All the other e-NVs come with a battery management system, a cooling system, so you can charge as many times as you want and not worry about overheating your battery. This particular model, because of weight, the biggest thing was weight and range, they took the BMS system out of this particular model. So that is nice, having the alarm to let me know if the ambient temperature outside is too high to think about charging. Let's see here. Also the power plug. I can go into my power plug through my menu up here and set a safety cutoff, so I don't use too much of my traction battery, so I can get home. So I can, if I'm out using it camping or something, I don't use all the traction battery and I'm stuck somewhere. So they have it. I can go into my menu. I can adjust how many segments do I want to keep on my charge, and the car will automatically turn off the power plug, the inverter, when I get to a certain level, just for my protection, so I don't use the whole traction battery. Another nice feature is when the car is turned off, when the car is off and I want to use the inverter, all I do is push this button right here. It's next to my knee, you probably can't see it. There's a little button here, power plug button. Push that and my display comes on, lets me know how much battery I have and how long I can use the inverter before it's going to be turned off. And I also, my 3 blue lights on the dashboard one of them comes on, let me know I'm using the inverter as well. It lets me know it's on, so I don't leave it on. I remember to turn it off. So that's a really nice feature. I love these 3 dash lights. I'm so glad they put them on the e-NV as well. Nissan Leaf has it. I think it's the only electric car out there with that kind of system. A lot of cars have some kind of glowing light, let you know they're charging. But these 3 lights, they use it for not just charge levels. They use it to let you know if your 12-volt system needs to be charged. They use it to let you know your climate control system is on. These 3 lights are wonderful. I love them on both cars. Nice feature. On this particular car, the accelerate pedal has a hard spot. You push down, and then there's a little hard spot, and it's almost like a button, but it's not. It's a special system they invented. And you push down, and it gets to a spot where it stops. And for most of your driving, you'll never have to go past that spot. But if you want to pass somebody, if you need that passing gear speed, you just push through that. You just push through it, and it'll kick it in. And let me tell you, this car has got some oomph to it. That 80 kilowatt motor has plenty of torque with that new. They have the gear ratio on this is different than the Leaf, so it has plenty of low-end torque, instant torque, and you can take off like a rocket and scare the heck out of your passengers when you floor this pedal. But like I said, it's pretty hard. It won't let you floor it easily, so you're not going to be wasting your battery easily. Lead foot people won't affect your range too much. It's pretty clever. I like that design. So that's a nice feature for this car. Oh yeah, the last one is, I already mentioned it, was the rear air conditioning. I have a main power button here. I can turn it on and off from up here. Also, just interesting to note, Your main air conditioning up front has to be on to be able to activate the rear. You can't do separately. If this one's not on, it won't work in the rear. The front one has to be on for the rear to work, because I found out when we lifted this car up, the rear air conditioning unit is a separate, completely separate unit. However, it's tied into the same, it uses the same Freon as the front air conditioning unit. So, of course, the front one the compressor has to be on for the front, for the compressor to be powering the rear as well. So they're tied into the same compressor. Okay? That is that. Now we're going to move on to summarizing the pros and cons. And I have invented a new measurement, a new way of measuring how good and how bad the pros and cons are in the top 5, and we'll go into that next. Okay, now we're going to the summary segment of the review. And since we are dealing with an EV or eco car, I thought it'd be fitting to change the grading scale to hippie, flower powers for positives, for pros, and hippie slaps for cons. So let's get started. The first pro on the list is your sitting position. Sitting high in the car. I would give that 2 flower powers for how you sit in the car. Very nice sitting arrangement. You have good visibility. Love it. Second pro, heated seats and steering wheel. That's another 2 flower powers. Nice, very nice.
Really?
Cons, no cruise control. What?
That is totally
so that's definitely
sight, man.
that's definitely a hippie groin check for no cruise control.
Oh, not cool.
Also, one more con: no adjustable seat belts. That is a hippie slap for sure. Pro: cargo room. Lots and lots of cargo room in this car. Even with the seats down and everybody sitting in there, there's still room for cargo. Very nice. Lots of room compared to any other EV out there. I think it's got the most cargo room for sure. That's definitely 2 flower powers. Cons: this car squeaks something fierce when you're driving down the street. It makes all kinds of noises. That is, once again, 2 hippie slaps for sure.
Oh, what the heck, man?
Pros: you have a rear air conditioner. You have rear air conditioning in this car. So with this car, because the front air conditioner is powerful enough for first and second row, maybe it just won't reach the third row. So it's nice having the second air conditioning unit in the back of the car.
Really?
That's definitely 2 flower powers.
Thanks, man. Cool.
And cons: rear seat belts. Very difficult to use. Cannot see where the buckle is. It's really hard to buckle those things up. That's definitely 1 hippie slap for sure. AC inverter on the pros. Big pro is the 1,500 watt AC inverter for camping or for whatever you need to use for emergency use. You can even for you lose power from some kind of natural disaster. Your house has no power. You can use the AC inverter and power your important appliances in the house. Very nice. That's a big pro. Let's give that a hippie hug.
All right, man.
That's a hippie
so
hug
cool.
for sure. Con. Big con. Biggest con of them all. Once again, hippie groin check goes to range. The range is awful on this car. They need to work on that. It needs to get improved. So there you go. So what is the overall grade for this car? Well, this car, in my mind, for what we use it for, excellent. I'm going to give that. Don't worry, hippie. You're getting a big hug. This is definitely, overall, a big hippie hug for rating on this car. It's wonderful. 4 flower powers and a hippie hug. I don't care. It's wonderful. Loving the car. Guys, it's going to affect everybody differently. Some people are going to love it a lot. Some people aren't going to care for it too much. It is really up to you to decide whether these pros and cons I have mentioned are going to be okay with you or bother you or what. But as far as I'm concerned, with the way we use the car, it's wonderful and we love it. We love every second of it. It's working great. We have no range issues where we live, and the room is just incredible. It's just a lot of room, a lot of fun to drive, a lot of power for a minivan, and it looks good. It looks good. It really does. So thank you for watching our review, and I am sorry about all the wind noise. I'll try to fix it a little bit in post, but I'm not going to be able to do much. So Please excuse the wind noise. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I will see you again soon, guys. Subscribe and like. Thank you. Bye.